How much bigger of a stage is a playoff game for a young quarterback?
It's not as big as we all make it to be on the outside. We're talking about it every day. We're hyping it up. I felt like as a player, you could kind of relate it to week one. There's so much anticipation, excitement for the regular season to start, for the postseason to start. Once you get to week one in the NFL, you're done with training camp. You're done with OTAs. You're done with all, practicing against your own defense. You finally get to play against somebody else. So the game's a little bit quicker, a little bit more physical, but it's not as drastic as I feel like on the outside looking in now. That
it's not as if the field's wider. It's not like it's longer, the speed and everything, but there is some anxiety to not being successful that you don't have typically in the regular season. When you start the first game, it's like, if we lay an egg, we got 15 other games to be able to try to get it together. That part is drastically different.
There's more pressure, no doubt, absolutely. But I don't think guys hit harder or tackle harder or run faster. We, like I said, we make it up to be so much more than it is. From a player standpoint, you got to get through. You got to get your massage. You got to get your practice. You got to get your film study. You got to get your game plan. You get to Sunday, you play, and you hope you get another Sunday or Saturday out of it.
Of the four young quarterbacks, the four quarterbacks making their first start, I think people would put Mahomes and Watson in a different category than the other two. I think people at this point, most people believe Mahomes and Watson, if they are healthy, are going to have long, productive, high-level careers. Bigger question marks about Trubisky and about Lamar Jackson. I'm curious your thoughts on both of those guys. We'll start with Lamar, who's playing a different style of quarterback, certainly than you played and than most guys have played, but the team, and he's been very successful during this run since he took over.
Yeah, I feel like there's a ton of questions surrounding that whole situation because what's looming over it is Joe Flacco's salary next year. At the end of the day, and we're going to find out in these playoffs, at the end of the day, the quarterback position is one from in the pocket. And we're going to find out if Lamar, at some point, he's going to have to win a game in the pocket. Every quarterback does this time of year. It's been phenomenal on the ground, and the defense has played well. But if they get behind and he has to sit back in the pocket and beat you without using his legs, we're going to find out the future of the Baltimore Ravens. Are they going to get rid of Joe and get rid of that salary and say that Lamar's our guy? Or is there a little bit of uncertainty there that they're worried about next year and the following years? Is Lamar going to be the guy?
Yeah, I think Carson makes a great point talking about as far as the quarterbacks and what they have to do. Their overall preparation. Quarterbacks are trying to prepare just like they did during the regular season. Now, once you get into the game, you have the variance of, okay, now I'm in the game, what am I going to do? I think that the running quarterbacks, they have an advantage in this, that it's easier to get them into the flow of the game because you can utilize their legs and their arms to get them in the flow.
Doesn't have to be a completion to do it.
But as the game goes on, the game becomes harder for them because once you take away some of their runs, as you said, it's going to be 3 to 5 times late in this game that he's going to be in the pocket and he's going to not be able to run the ball. He's going to have to deliver the football down the field. Now, Trubisky and Lamar, both of them, what do they do in these situations? We are far more confident in Deshaun Watson, what he's done as a passer. If they negate his athleticism, he can still survive. And we know Patty Mahomes. We just haven't seen a quarterback that's able to throw at all the different levels. So we expect him to have some type of success, not only if he doesn't have success in this playoffs, but
at some point.
At the end of the day, Dak talked about, hey, you get paid for winning in the playoffs. Well, you also get paid for throwing the ball. And I want to watch what you said, those 3 to 5 late in the game. What do these young quarterbacks do who are used to relying on their legs? How does their arm perform under those conditions?
3rd down and 7+, 3rd down and 8, 3rd down and 10, 3rd down and 12. I do not want to see Deshaun Watson in 3rd down and 12 if I'm a defender. He can take off and run like you've seen him do it all the time, and he can throw the ball over the field. Lamar, that's what we're going to find out. That first 3rd and 6, that first 3rd and 8, where you can't run the quarterback power or the QB draw, when you have to sit back and throw down the field concepts to get first downs, that's where this game's going to be won or lost.
We talk so much about Nick Foles and why this Eagles team seems to be playing better, differently, with more of a sense of desperation, if you will, with Nick Foles as opposed to Carson Wentz. We use the word magical, but you almost say it and you laugh a little bit. But how do you explain how this team has stepped up with Nick Foles under center?
I think belief would be a key word for that. They believe in Nick. And not that they don't believe in Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is an unbelievable talent. He's just been banged up for the last year and a half. But that team has seen Nick do it. That team has been in the huddle with Nick in the Super Bowl against the Patriots on the biggest stage. So I think belief. There's so much belief in that locker room that when Nick Foles is in there, they're as good as any team in the nation. Can
you give us an example of what you've seen? Because you have a guy that not only unfortunately you were injured in a playoff game, but what you've seen in NFL locker rooms as far as that confidence, guys having confidence in that backup compared to, oh my gosh, the season is over with when that backup comes into the lineup.
99% of the teams have that feeling when the second string quarterback comes into the game.
The negative feeling.
The negative feeling.
Yes.
Oh, man, there goes our season.
Right.
99% of them. There aren't many teams that are fortunate like the Philadelphia Eagles to have a Nick Foles, a guy that's been the starter there for that organization years prior.
Right.
And then last year he took them to the Super Bowl and won it and were the underdog of the century and beat, the reigning champs, the New England Patriots. So they've seen him do it. They've watched him do it. They've seen it's not too big for him. They've seen the way he handled winning the Super Bowl and being the MVP. There's a ton of belief and they love Nick.
And some of that love and some of that belief comes from, isn't it nice that the other position players, they don't have to change? Where the coach is not saying, I need you guys to do more. I need you. All they have to do is play the same game that they're playing and collectively as a team going forward. I think that gives the quarterback and the team more confidence.
Well, look at the situation in Baltimore. If Lamar were to get hurt and then Joe Flacco comes in,
everything's
offense changes completely.
Right.
The play calls, the formations, the personnel groupings, everything changes. That's a lot of pressure on everybody. Oh, everybody on defense is going, oh, man, now we got to start throwing it. We're not going to run it. We're going to be on the field more. We're going to be more tired. There's so many little factors that build up upon that. Well, you look at them, nothing's changed. Nick doesn't run the ball as well as Carson does, but Nick can still run it when they call that read option every once in a while, just as a surprise to the defense.
All right, Carson, you're here with FedEx. Tell us a little bit about this year's nominees for the Air and Ground Players of the Year.
Yeah, so this year it's a very exciting year. It's going to be a really close race. The opening voting starts today, and it ends on the 31st of January, and we're going to announce the winner for the FedEx Air and the potential recipients this year. For the Air are Patrick Mahomes, who's getting my vote, Phillip Rivers, and Drew Brees. And then on the ground, it's Ezekiel Elliott, who is the reigning yards champ from this past year. You got Todd Gurley, and you've got Saquon Barkley here in New York. So
wow,
it's going to be a tight race. I'm voting for Patrick Mahomes with the 50 touchdown passes, and I'm voting for Ezekiel Elliott. But it's a great race. It's going to come down to the wire.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.